Welcome to the deep dive. If you've ever looked at someone successful and just felt, completely overwhelmed by that gap between you and them, this is for you. We're going to be dismantling the myth that success requires some kind of running start. We're diving into excerpts from Zero to Hero, the discipline of beginning. And our mission is really laser focused. We want to extract the critical difference between, say, temporary motivation and real lasting discipline.
And to understand why having nothing to lose isn't a setback, the text argues it's actually your greatest advantage.
It's a huge claim.
Yeah.
The sources, they immediately challenge everything we think we know. We're taught that heroes start with talent or money or connections.
Yeah, the head start.
Exactly. But this text says the opposite. The people we admire, the real heroes, they often began with absolutely nothing. They succeeded because they started at zero, not in spite of it.
Okay, let's unpack this idea of starting at zero. It feels like such a paradox. It completely flips the script. In our culture, zero means failure. It means debt, inertia, something you have to escape from as fast as possible.
Of course.
But the book, it defines zero as the purest starting line there is. It's that phase with no recognition, no results, and this is the key, no guarantees. And that initial difficulty is why most people they quit before they even start.
Because there's no feedback, no validation.
They can't handle the silence.
And that's why this is so important for you, the learner. Because if you feel behind, if you're looking at the clock and wondering, can someone like me, with what I have, actually make it?
Right.
This material promises clarity. It's not about shortcuts. It's a roadmap that says you can use your current lack of resources as fuel, not as an excuse. Okay, so let's get right into that core argument. Why on earth is starting from zero framed as a strength? My first reaction, and I think most people's, is to see it as a huge weakness.
Well, the sources say that when you have nothing, you gain this unique kind of fearlessness. You're free from all the burdens that come with established success.
Fearlessness because you have nothing to lose.
Exactly. The psychological cost of failure basically drops to zero. Think about all the energy that people with reputations or careers spend just protecting their image.
Right, playing defense.
A person at zero doesn't have to do that. They can take risks with their time, their reputation, even their money that an established person just can't afford to. It makes them faster, more adaptive. They have to innovate.
And that connects to a point you made earlier. You stop trying to impress people. Zero strips away what the authors call the luxury of excuses.
It forces a kind of brutal honesty. You can't lean on past wins because you don't have any. You can't blame your team because you probably don't have one.
It's all on you.
It is. And that forces you to look really hard at your own effort, your own habits. It's painful for sure, but that's where real strength comes from. Comfort doesn't build anything.
The sources make this really tangible with those metaphors. The clock, the laptop, and the money. We touched on them, but let's get specific.
Okay, so the clock. The text says it's not there to create panic about time running out. It's there to wake you up, to force you to focus your effort on high-leverage things. A person at zero just doesn't have time for distractions.
The laptop?
The laptop is framed as your gateway. It's not just for consuming things, it's a tool for creating, for learning skills that can actually generate income.
So it's about production, not consumption. What about the money? Is that just a goal?
It's deeper than that. The lack of money is a constant, tangible reminder of opportunity cost, of every single hour you waste. It hammers home the idea that the world only rewards one thing: execution.
So really what this all boils down to is that heroes aren't made by comparing themselves to other people's timelines.
No, not at all. They're made by a deep commitment to their own path, born out of that brutal honesty of their situation.
And that word commitment, it leads us right into the engine of this whole thing. The huge difference between motivation and discipline.
Right.
We hear this all the time, but how do the sources really sharpen that distinction?
The sharpness is in the definition they use. Motivation is an emotion. It's a feeling. It comes and it goes. It's totally unreliable.
Like watching an inspiring video and then doing nothing.
Exactly. Discipline, on the other hand, is a decision. It's a non-negotiable choice to act, no matter how you feel. And here's the key insight. Heroes are not more motivated than everyone else. They are just fundamentally more disciplined.
That reframes everything. It means you don't have to wait to feel inspired. But what does that disciplined work actually look like when you're at zero, when you're not getting any results?
It looks like silence. And frankly, it looks like boredom. The sources call this the silent success phase. It's doing the work when nobody is watching, when the reward feels miles away, when progress is so slow you can't even measure it.
That's the crucible.
That's the crucible. Most people quit not because the work is hard. They quit because the success is too silent, too internal. They think a lack of applause means a lack of growth.
So practically speaking, how do you keep going on, a Tuesday morning when the motivation is just gone? Does the book give you tools for that?
It focuses on what you could call pre-commitment systems. So instead of waiting to feel like going to the gym, you decide the night before, you lay out your clothes, the decision is made when you're rational.
You remove the negotiation.
You remove the negotiation with your tired, unmotivated self. The goal is to reinforce consistency even when it's boring, especially when it's boring.
Here's where it gets really interesting for me. We live in a world that is just addicted to speed. We want fast results, fast growth.
Instant everything.
But these sources insist that real growth is slow. It's built in repetition, it's strengthened in boredom, it's earned. And that heroes aren't made in one big moment, but in thousands of tiny, correct decisions made day after day.
Yes, and those decisions look completely unimpressive from the outside.
So this journey from zero, it's not just about doing the work, it's about changing who you are on the inside. And the book says that starts with something it calls intellectual humility. We usually think of humility as, a weakness. But the text calls it a form of intelligence. How does being at zero force you into that state?
Because zero destroys any pretense of being an expert. When you're just starting out or failing a lot, you have to stop pretending you have all the answers.
You have no choice.
You have no choice. So you shift from just broadcasting your opinions to asking better questions. And maybe more importantly, you start listening more than you talk. Growth is completely blocked the second you think you figured it all out. Humility is just the intelligence to know you're still a student.
And when you realize you don't know everything, I guess every hour becomes more valuable. You have to protect your time.
Exactly right. You stop wasting time and you start protecting it. Every hour is an investment decision. Every little choice you make scrolling on your phone or studying, complaining, or building is a vote for the person you're becoming.
And those votes add up.
Massively. But you often don't see the result until it's way too late.
Okay, so we have consistency, we have humility, but what about the mindset that holds it all together? That shift from blaming others to taking full responsibility, that feels like the hardest part.
It is the ultimate test. The sources are very clear. Blame keeps you weak. It puts the power outside of your control. You're just waiting for the world to change for you.
Which never happens.
Never happens. Responsibility, though, immediately gives you the power back. It's that moment where you stop asking, why me? And you start saying, okay, this is where I am. I will build a system to move forward from here.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture, it all comes back to execution. The world doesn't care about your good intentions or your excuses.
Not at all. It only rewards the consistent application of effort that comes from that place of radical personal responsibility.
One of the biggest roadblocks for anyone starting out is this confidence myth. We think we need to feel ready, feel confident before we can take the first step, and it just paralyzes us.
Yeah, the sources are very firm on this. Confidence is the result of action. It's not a prerequisite. What you need to start is courage.
And how do they define courage?
Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to act in spite of the fear, to keep going even when you're full of doubt. Heroes almost never feel ready. They just start anyway. It's a discipline, not a feeling.
But if you're acting without being certain, what about rejection or financial pressure? How do you tell the difference between disciplined courage and just being reckless?
Well, it connects back to humility. Recklessness is acting without preparation, without listening to feedback. Courage, in this framework, is acting after you've done your homework. You accept the fear is there, but you trust the system you've built.
So when you fail, you don't just quit.
No. You humbly collect the data from that failure and you use it to make the next attempt better.
So the struggle, the self-doubt, even doubt from your friends or family, those aren't signs you should stop.
No, they are signs that you are growing. The book radically reframes struggle. Pressure creates strength. Resistance builds endurance. If something feels hard, if you are questioning yourself, it means you're pushing past your old limits. Discomfort is the feeling of growth.
Now, all of this work you do at zero, before anyone even knows your name, it culminates in earning your own self-respect. You build the identity before you get the results.
That's the foundation of everything. You have to stop chasing external validation likes, applause, money, and focus completely on earning internal validation.
How do you do that?
Self-respect grows when you keep the promises you make to yourself. Those quiet mornings when you get up and do the work. Those hours you spend studying instead of scrolling. That's the currency of self-respect, and that is the only true source of confidence.
It's so compelling. We admire the end result, the success, the confidence, but we totally ignore the beginning. The nights of doubt, the mornings of discipline. The sources are blunt about it. The beginning is what matters most. If you quit, no one remembers your potential. But if you persist, that discipline will eventually speak for itself. Hashtag tag tag outro. So we circle back to the core lesson here. Starting at zero isn't a curse you have to endure. It's a gift. It gives you hunger, it gives you clarity, and it gives you the freedom to build your life from scratch without anyone else's expectations.
Yeah.
The prescription is simple, but it's incredibly demanding. Focus on today's effort, not tomorrow's outcome. Wake up with intention, work with focus, end your day with honesty, and just repeat.
That's it.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? It means the moment you take that first disciplined action, no matter how small it is, you're not at zero anymore. You are officially in progress.
And this raises a really important question for everyone listening. If heroes are made in silence, defined by persistence, and built by thousands of tiny, correct decisions, what is the one small, boring, unimpressive disciplined action you're avoiding right now? What's the one thing that would officially move you from that paralyzing state of zero to the unstoppable state of in progress? Because the story only changes when you stop waiting for the perfect moment and you just take the next step.